Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the CB23 patch reveal. And we're not changing the system, just really how the cards are constructed. Just to give you guys a little backstory on where that's coming from. Previously, we used to have specialty cards that existed in the game, which basically meant you couldn't have two damage cards. You only had one. We kind of redacted that in one of our previous patches. I think CB20 was the patch. And that allows you now, like if you're Knessa, you can pick up 3 damage cards, 4 damage cards, and stack them together. We can kind of like just shift that system around so that, as you pick your cards, there's a little more of a structure to it, so you can't just, go, all out and pick all damage cards. We're also looking at some of the characters that we have in the game right now. I know there's some complaints around Buck, certain builds for Barrick, also the way Knessa plays and how that interacts with other characters if she's sitting far away. So we're making adjustments to that. But let's just go ahead and walk through the general idea for the specialty card system that we're reintroducing and how that's going to work. We basically took a look at the characters that we have now and just said we don't want people having, more than one build-defining damage card, right? We don't want you to pick standstill and finisher and one other card, or we don't want you to pick steady, critical hit, size of the fight, and then generate. So what we're going to do with this patch and as going forward is we're going to shift it so every character will have 2 main build strategies. These are kind of just like your specializations. You're choosing a build structure for that character with a build path, and then you're going to kind of intermix cards as you see fit. There's going to be that creativity there, that versatility of making builds, but you're going to focus that more towards a purpose. So every character now will have 2 specialty cards. These are very powerful cards that define your build, and you can only have 1 specialty card in your deck. So let's take an example. Knessa is a good one to look at. Knessa specifically, like I mentioned before, she had size of the fight, and she had steady and stuff like that, and the critical hits. She will now have 2 specialty cards. One of those is going to be critical hits. And we're also going to roll those together a little bit more, which means that those cards will be very useful. So critical hits will be, when you hit a target in the head, you'll deal additional damage, and you also reduce the charge time of your sniper rifle. So generator will go away. We're rolling generator and critical hits together, and that will be a specialty card that basically saying, I want to snipe. My thing is going to be sniping. And then we're going to specify another build for that character that's completely different. I want to make sure that there is a large difference between the 2 of those builds, so that you're really kind of choosing 2 very polar opposite build paths for that character. And then obviously all the supporting cards can be mixed as you see fit. So the second one for Knessa is going to be around her mines. So we're going to take something like Well Stocked, which increases the amount of mines you can throw out up to a large amount. So you have 4 additional mines out. And that way you really are building around kind of team support, utility, slowing people down, applying debuffs, sniping people with kind of medium damage, keep people down. But this will also help certain characters that feel like they are just, they have a lot going for them, characters like Buck, right? So we talk about Buck for a second. We're basically going to take his main build, and it's going to be more of a net build. So that's going to be, when you net someone for 4 or 5 seconds after netting them, he'll get bonus damage, and the rest of the time his damage will be a little bit lower. And then he'll have another build, which will be about healing and tanking, based on a specialty card. And that way, if you don't have the damage specialty card, you won't be dealing as much damage as you could, but then you'll be stronger in other ways.
So
you'll
have
a lot
the
of utility.
specialty card, you're not going to be healing as much as
That's
the
right.
healing build.
It's kind of building the opportunity cost into the card system to make sure that you don't stack everything together to make the best build, right? Either you're doing a damage build for Knessa and you're sniping people, and there's one card that really helps specify that and it's very powerful, or you're doing a completely other build but you're sacrificing that damage in order to be very strong utility, high tank, high healing, that kind of thing. A lot of specialty cards will have more than one thing on them as well to make them even stronger. So like the Barricade card will be Barricade health and Barricade cooldown. So if you don't have this card, your Barricade will be on a longer cooldown and have lower health, but your turrets will be a lot better when you go down the turret build path. So you're basically choosing from 2 specializations for your character, and then you can mix all the cards in there. We are testing out some subtle adjustments to the Siege game mode, stuff like increasing the maximum point limit from 4 to 5. We've also heard some feedback from you guys about, whether there should be a defense bonus for defending the payload or stuff like that. We are evaluating those pieces and making sure everything is working. More polish. We're trying to just get all the bugs cleaned up, get closer and closer. We have the qualifiers for the $100,000 Paladins Founders Tournament coming up next weekend. The Dargan. Okay, so we're in the picking stage, so we can see that there is there's one row of characters you all know, and kind of, I guess, there's very apropos. There's a row you don't. Here is Drogoz, the Greedy. So he is a jetpack dragon.
Yep, he is our high-flying, rocket-shooting, damage-dealing monster of a character. He's pretty cool. By far one of my favorite in our game to date. Okay, so he has this kind of super rocket launcher. You'll see through some of his abilities that it's actually multi-purpose. There's a lot of interactive components of it. It's a lot of fun to use. Definitely probably our coolest weapon yet. But at base it is a 6-round rocket launcher. Let me march out here too. Super powerful. It's got an AoE approximately the size of Eevee's. Is actually a little wider for Drogoz's character. He's very efficient at dealing damage. Alright, so as you can see, this is not a light hitting character. These rockets do quite a punch. They pack quite a punch. He's got a pretty slow refire compared to some of our other faster characters, but that is counteracted by just the oomph that his weapon packs. Now, it is 6 shots, so it's also lower. Make sure you choose them carefully, and it's also the added burden of having a slower projectile than a lot of your instant fire characters, which is kind of the fun with a rocket launcher class. And we can kind of dive. Actually, let's do the alt fire, and then the interaction there, because that's a really cool part. So at base, you shoot this this wonderful gooey loogie, as it's affectionately called, and as this thing is it's not a human loogie, it is a bubble of spittle surrounding a highly explosive gas interior, and for gameplay it has 2 functionalities. So directly hitting an enemy with this slow-moving projectile will amplify my damage against targets affected by it. So as you can see, I'm kind of dripping with this flammable material that increases the incendiary damage of my rockets. However, it does have a dual effect, which is really cool. Creates a lot of awesome gameplay experiences. So you can also shoot your loogie out of the air, dealing damage and applying a small knockback. This is an ability that is only destructible by Drogoz. Oh, thank you. Lots of cool interactions there, and also modifiable by cards. You can go down.
A card that makes it knock back. I want to blow people up.
You know, I feel like we would be remiss if we didn't make a card that makes it just knock someone way back.
I want to blow everyone off the point by spitting on them.
Well, you're in luck, my friend. We have that card. That's one of his specialty cards that, as we just described, kind of focuses your card build along a specific route. And his is called Decimate. And what that does is make the loogie knockback, extremely powerful. So you have a very good control over space and enemy players. It does not amplify the damage, however, it will effectively put lots of distance and clear objectives for you, which is very important in our gameplay. Next is his thrust ability. Not as exciting as the others, but is the core of his kit. Your F is your movement ability. It launches you about approximately 50 feet in the air and 20 feet forward, and does not consume any booster fuel / energy. This is on, you can't see it on a screen right now, but it's on about a 10 or 12 second cooldown. So this is really what either lets you start a fight or get out of it accordingly, just because as a rocket launcher character you want to be above the battlefield so you can place your shots easier based on where your opponents are going. It's his bread and butter, and actually his second specialty card, which is called Rain of Fire, is tied directly to it. And what that does is give you a damage bonus for a brief period of time after you've activated your F. So if you can thrust up into the air, zero in on your shots, and fire your rockets in quick succession, you will receive a damage bonus. Those are his 2 specialty cards tied to these 2 abilities in his kit. Oh, that is so good. If only you could actually do that without cheat codes on.
I just want to spit on you, Garrett. That's all I want to do is just spit all over you.
This is
You disgust me. Get out of here. Okay, so I'm doing this right, and I'm jumping up in the air, and then for some reason I'm not falling.
That might be because you're holding spacebar. Is that what you're doing?
That's what I'm doing.
Nice.
So his F has a passive component to it?
It does. So thrust passive component is called booster. Just with kind of your classic jetpack character gameplay is you have the ability to suspend yourself and kind of navigate around in air tied to a resource system. And there are currently this is actually outdated UI. We've actually moved it underneath the crosshair. It's a little bit less cluttered, so it feels good. But right now, you can suspend yourself for a limited period of time. You are not going to be... It's very important to choose when you want to use this resource. It's very powerful in Paladins, just kind of the way our game works and how our maps are laid out, being able to suspend yourself like so and fly. But it comes in very handy. A lot of your projectile lob characters have a very hard time dealing with a flying, hovering Drogoz. Try and use that to your advantage. And you can only hit this once per cooldown. Roy is...
I can do it forever!
Yes, you're very talented.
So obviously there's a lot of cool synergies there, right? You can kind of shoot the spit, you can blow up the spit. If I'm close enough, I can just spit on you, which I think is probably all I want to do. And then obviously it'll let me do more damage. And then every now and then, right, when my thrust is off cooldown and I have enough fuel, I can kind of stay in the air and blow up on you. But one thing I'm noticing right here is that... go ahead and bring that down. One thing I'm noticing here is that, you know, I can't stay up here too long. It's really just kind of a short period that to fall down. But I'm noticing that, you know, obviously the UI is a little bit wrong here. We have 6 rockets to choose from, but I can't, like, I can't really shoot them that fast. I want to blow you up.
Yeah, you almost...
Is there a way I can blow them up?
I think you can. It'd be really cool if we did some sort of burst fire mechanic. Let's see if the Q does something like that. Oh, would you look at that? So you're actually preloading your rockets into your... Oh my goodness. Now, okay, so this ability is his Q. It's a Salvo. It's essentially a very powerful, and it's a stim for your next shot fire. The way it works is hitting Q kind of locks you out of using other abilities, and your robot, like, automated magazine just shoves all of the rockets inside of your launcher. This next shot of yours is going to fire at less accuracy, so keep that in mind. But it's going to empty your clip in very rapid succession. This combo is very well with, again, kind of going back to the Drogoz playstyle of being above your target and firing down. The combo is super nasty if you preload and then F and catch someone unsuspecting, maybe like a sniper or a barrack behind his turrets. If you can flank and get a unsuspecting target, it's going to be a lot of front-loaded damage.
So my little meteor here has turned red. The little needle on it is wiggling, showing that there's a lot of strain on the system. There's 6 rockets loaded into this thing. So what I can do is I can jump up and go and spit on you for good measure.
Yep.
But you'll see that, you know, at the end of this, right, there's actually there's a load time, so I can't just do this in front of somebody in combat. And once I do it, you'll notice that my weapon has a really long kind of recovery period where it is overheated. You see that the kind of pops out. It presses the pressure meter. There's a load time where it's longer than a reload. Like I can't just
3
sit
seconds.
there. It's almost twice as long as a reload, where I can't just sit there and reload and start shooting again. If I do this, there's a big risk involved, and then this will load out, the steam will be there, and then I'll finally be able to shoot again. But in that period, if I miss my rockets or I didn't really get the right lineup, this kind of screws me over.
It's definitely a gamble. There's an opportunity cost in using it, but it's so satisfying when you get it right. And you also will be punished if you misuse it, which is kind of the fun part of this character, is being able to have all these variables line up in just the right fashion and perform a really, really amazing kill, or series of kills even, so you can use it.
So what's it called?
Alright guys, so this ultimate is called Dragon Punch. Now,
So what do I do?
well, first off, you're a dragon.
Okay.
Secondly, you punch someone.
Okay.
Now, it's not like you're just going to mosey up to someone and kind of clock them in the ribs or something. You have a jetpack. It's pretty powerful. We figured
like
we'd
that?
let you use it.
Is it like this?
You know, I think it might even be way cooler than that.
All right.
Like 8 million times cooler.
Let's
even.
just try it.
Let's just try it. Oh my goodness.
You're dead.
I am dead. I am gone.
You're dead. So obviously there's a wind up there. So as I'm traveling out, it'll go into third person and kind of show me. My jetpack's powering up. I'm getting ready to go. And then the camera sits on top of my shoulders and just kind of stares with my fist ready to go.
Yep.
I run into someone. What happens?
So running into someone effectively deals 100% of their life as damage. So if it is an unshielded target, it's going to one-shot them. It's going to give someone...
But I can miss, right? I have a pretty slow turn right there.
Yeah. The ability itself is not as easy to hit as many of our others. We actually refund you 30% of your energy just because our game is so fast and this is it is super satisfying to hit though. Bear in mind though, it is a flat damage amount based on your target's maximum health. So if
they have a
any
shield
mitigation,
or damage reduction, they won't die.
They will not die. And it is a 2-second windup where broadcast globally, and also it is a very loud traveling sound. So if there's a flying Drogoz, like even remotely near you, you're gonna hear it as his thrusters just boost by you with like
let's
Dragon's Fury.
hit me with it and see what it looks like on the other side.
Sure.
And actually, there's no. Skip this.
I'll rely on you.
He could be One Punch Man. Does he do push-ups, sit-ups, and
He eats his vegetables. I know
spots?
that.
He does. Okay.
He's very healthy for a dragon.
That's good. He doesn't have hair, so he did train until he went bald.
That's true.
Does the snot bubble block enemy projectiles?
No, it should not.
What happens when two Drogozes punch each other?
I mean, we could test that.
Does he deal self-damage to himself when he shoots the ground?
Yes, he does. Actually, I think his self-damage values are a little bit higher than some of our other characters.
Can he rocket jump?
Not in the traditional sense of using your weapon to propel you upwards.
Does the bubble blow up upon hitting an enemy shield?
Yeah, it goes...
But it doesn't explode.
No, it doesn't
Right.
explode.
Okay.
To only get the detonation, you have to blow it up yourself.
Is it possible to use his ultimate when you're flying?
Absolutely. Yep. It comes with its own set of in-air activation animations too. It's really awesome.
Is Grover going to be buffed more? Actually, Grover is being looked at as well. There's a question of if there are any support champs in the pipeline. There are some more kind of frontline characters in the pipeline, yes.
Yep. Some tanky guys coming up.
Does damage reduction work on his ultimate?
Yes, absolutely. This could be either... Yeah, so we're going to ult each other. This could either be really cool.
Okay, yeah. So what we're going to do here is we're going to try and one-shot, one-punch man each other in the face at the exact same time.
We might just bounce off each other.
Let's find out.
3, 2, 1.
I win!
What?
I win!
That's not...
Take it, Garrett! Take it! You take it! You sucker!
All right.
That's right.
All right.
I'm not sure why that happened.
I don't know either. We'll investigate.
Well, I think it's mainly just because my forehead's bigger, so when we smash against each other,
Yep.
it had more weight and push. But, you know, sometimes the man's gonna win. So this patch we're aiming for this week, hopefully to have it out hopefully tomorrow night if we can. So this week if things work well. It's going to be a little tight, but we're trying to get it out as fast as we
We're
can.
grinding on it for you guys.
Can you punch deployables? Like turrets?
Actually, I think a barrack turret currently just stops you in your tracks.
Like it ends?
No, it doesn't end, but it,
You just don't.
yeah.
You're just going to get stuck on it.
You either go around it or just stay on it.
Does
yeah.
it go through a Fernando shield?
No, it shouldn't.
So will it stop moving or will it end?
You'll stop. You'll stop.
So you'll be kind of like hovering there.
Yeah.
Why did Megaturret get removed? We just couldn't find a way to have unavoidable damage with heat-seeking projectiles feel good. Either the damage needed to be too low that it didn't feel great for the barrack, or it needed to be medium or high that it didn't feel great for the enemy. So we felt like there were better options for us for a turret build for barrack, and we want to make sure that that frustration factor isn't there with any of our characters.
Yep.
We are working on a mute button as well. We are working on console. We are working on improvements to spectator actually actively as well.
Oh yeah, it's pretty cool, guys. It's gonna be awesome.
Are removed cards from patch 22 being reimbursed? Actually, I think they just did.
Yeah.
They just got reimbursed.
Sorry that took so long, guys.
All right, well, if that's all the questions you guys have for us, thanks for tuning in today. We'll have the patch notes out when we can to get some more information, more granular details on how the specialty cards will work for the characters. And obviously, we'll be able to see the descriptions for all the abilities for Drogoz, and we'll have more information on when this patch is out, hopefully this week, so you can get your hands on Drogoz and also on the new kind of build path methodology for the characters. And then maybe some minor tweaks to the siege mode, stuff like more points or something like that. As we kind of keep working on getting that system just about right. But thanks for tuning in for today, and we hope to see you next week on the Paladins Patch Reveal show, and we'll have more information for you there.
See you later, guys.